Now that our coffee supplies were somewhat replenished, we could continue with the project. Yes, still the same one, but I promise that's the last of it, at least for a while. And this is the truth. Some boat projects take hours, some take days, some months, and others even years. So we slowly, very slowly, learn patience, how to fail, and how to iterate.
To nie chodzi o to, żeby to było przyklejone tym, nie? Tylko żeby był radius.
It wasn't meant to so much hold the cover in place, but to immobilize it a bit and create a nice bevel for the fiberglass strips that would follow and do the actual holding.
Mam nadzieję, że to co tam idzie z mędu się jednak rozmyśli.
Our hypothesis is this. The probability of precipitation increases proportionally to progress made on an epoxy project. And may I present you with the evidence to support it.
Fresh epoxy.
Of course, it rained just long enough to make everything nicely wet and not a minute more. Sometimes it seems to me that the weather is like one of those Rinzai Zen masters. Fortunately for us, this lesson turned out to be one of the gentle ones, and the epoxy managed to kick in. As it's not really meant to be structural, all was good. And we did all of the above on my birthday.
To ma być pół bomu. Kółeczka, to się nie liczy, teraz nie rób zdjęcia w ogóle. Nie mam tak długiego sznurka, bo zarazki.
Here, we tried to figure out a system of ropes that would help us eliminate the need for a zipper in our future imaginary, magical, and perfect stack pack. I also got a surprise present, our first Patreon. Thank you, Robert. Next day, coming back from a snorkel, we noticed that the planetary gear system of the Haqueedo was much noisier than we deemed necessary. So, boldly ignoring the golden rule of if it ain't broke, don't fix it, we decided that we were gonna make it better.
Ciekawe, jak ktoś to ma odkręcić w momencie, gdy będzie pin zerwany. Wiesz, co chodzi?
Mhm.
Pszt. środku, nie?
It wasn't far into the disassembly process that the first issue occurred.
To się przypuszczam, że to będzie tyle co do naszej przygody z Torqeedo, wiesz?
It didn't exactly connect to the noise problem, but could potentially be fatal for Haqueedo.
Wiggle, wiggle?
Wiggle? Coś ci podać? After removing the remnants of whatever was wrapped around the shaft, it was wiggle time again.
To jest tego typu, że ten pin nie należy do najprostszych, nie?
Ta-da! Been out. Nice. Completely damaged, but out. Then Bartek proceeded to remove the cover, held in by 4 screws that exhibited only a minor amount of resistance.
Nie. Czemu nie? Sucho.
Now that we were sure there was no salt water inside, we decided it was safe to take the party indoors. A mamy taki olej? After playing our proximity warning sound / test sound, aka the Imperial March, a couple of times, we weren't so sure whether there was indeed a grinding sound or was that just the typical screeching of a planetary gear.
Zmieniamy, nie myjemy jej. Tylko...
W sensie, że tylko dodajemy, tak? Okay. We decided to just have a very non-intrusive look and maybe add more grease if necessary. But then there was, of course, the annoying screw of the project. So by the time Bartek managed to take it out, we forgot about it and proceeded to disassemble the whole thing.
To jest puszka Pandory. Jak to się otworzy?
There is a lot of tiny, easily losable pieces, yet somehow we cleaned and kept all of them. Bartek also found a chip that might have been the culprit.
Jest uszczerbko. To pewnie to słychać. Wiesz? O! No.
Then there was the somewhat fiddly task of putting all the needles back. all suspended in a nice thick layer of grease. The gearbox was put back in place, annoying screw included.
Coś z tą śrubką nie tego jest. Bardzo.
Ale że gwint, w sensie łepek ma rozwalony, czy gwint?
Zajechane. Że lepiej mówisz.
No nie?
Nie wiem, tak dla mnie to jest samo.
Whether it sounds better or not is honestly up for debate, but it was serviced and working, so we went with putting it back together.
No jeszcze pinką musimy załatwić, nie?
We were worried a bit about the state of the O-ring, which is pretty important in this case.
Ten o-ring jest słaby. O, nie wygląda, żeby on był zadowolony. Wiesz? Kwestia jest tego typu, że jeżeli dziura będzie dosyć duża, to i ten smar nie pomoże, ze względu na to, że różnica ciśnień w tym czymś na pewno w momencie, gdy to jest gorące, jak silnik jest wyciągnięty z wody, a przychodzisz, o, płyniemy, nie? Jest monstrualna i to ciśnienie w środku tego powietrza się zmienia.
Okay, so let's recap that. Trust me, it might come in handy later. So, our Haqueedo is basically an overcomplicated container. When the motor is lifted out of the water, the sun heats it up and the air molecules start to move around faster, building up pressure inside. As the air expands, if the pressure gets high enough, it can escape through any hole it will find, like an uneven leaf seal or a crappy O-ring. If one would then put the motor back in the water, the temperature will drop, the air will contract, creating lower pressure and sucking in water through the same hole that the air previously escaped. Okay, so back to the assembly process. Haqueedo is quite light and easily maneuverable, so it went quite smoothly. We still needed to find the new pin. After a couple of failed attempts that included rivets and such, we did find an appropriate piece of questionable stainlessness and cut it to size. To jest dobre pytanie. With the prop back on, we tested it one last time. All systems were go, but it was already dark outside, so testing would have to wait until the next day. And if you think I'm mean to end this part here, let's face it, we all already know what happened, don't we?
To jest gorzej niż wymiana uszczelki pod głowicą teraz, to co my tutaj robimy. Moim zdaniem, no. Gotowa?
Mhm.